Welcome to the Evangelism Podcast, where we talk about everything about evangelism. I am in the nation of Tanzania with Bishop Fredrick from Mwanza, and it's so good to have you here. God bless you, brother.
Oh, thank you so much. Pleasure to meet you today.
So the reason that I know you is actually through my wife, Jessica.
Yes.
She came to Tanzania 13 years ago in 2004 to arrange a great gospel festival for evangelist Peter Youngren, who's an evangelist from Canada, and she was actually the organizer for that event, and you also participated in that. And so tell me a little bit about what you remember about my wife from before I even married her.
Honestly speaking, Jessica was very amazing, because I remember that crusade was one of the biggest crusade in Mwanza, Tanzania. And she came and I stayed there pretty longer preparing for the meeting. And she really had to work with pastors from many different denominations. And she's a down-to-earth woman of God. And I could see the real missionary spirit in her. The way, although that time she was still not yet maybe married, she was looking young, but she could work well with even the older pastors and bishops. And honestly, everybody loved her so much because of the heart and the pure spirit.
And so, what impact did that crusade with Pastor Peter Youngren have on Mwanza and the surrounding region?
The crusade actually was one of the biggest, and it impacted many churches because the harvest was so big. Many people got saved, and many churches got the converts. And even until now, people are still talking about that meeting. There's never been any meeting like that, I remember so well. That's why the meeting had a very big impact, and even Jessica is a witness to this.
Talk to me about evangelism in Tanzania. What are you doing in your church to evangelize?
Evangelism actually in Tanzania is very much important, because Tanzania is one of the countries in East Africa with many Muslims and many non-Christians. So in our church we have evangelism programs whereby we sometimes train the people and then we send them for personal evangelism. And also as a ministry we organize crusades, especially in the villages, because many preachers, they come to the cities. And I realized that the villages are neglected. Many people don't want to go there. So that's why we always organize as a denomination, as a church. We reach out to the people and preach the gospel, do open air crusades, and people have been getting saved.
So your church has been going into the villages, doing crusades in the villages, and then you are also planting churches in these villages. How many churches have you planted?
Through the evangelism outreach, I've planted 200 churches.
200 churches?
Yes.
Mostly in the village areas. The places where a lot of Americans don't go because they go to the big cities.
Yes.
But you're going from village to village.
Village to village. That's why I could also realize that even the Africans, we also are able, through the support even of the American evangelists, if they can have some system whereby the native people may be partnering together. So when they come, they can preach in the big cities, and then the Africans can go to the villages. That could be very much impacting.
What a tremendous blessing that is. Tell me about what a village crusade looks like. Do you have a team that goes? Do you have a sound system? Do you bring a generator? What does it take to do a crusade?
Actually, the village evangelism is somehow hard because there are no instruments. So we have to take the PA system with generators to the villages. So we go with the team, and sometimes because of the transportation, maybe we hire some trucks. Then we put this PA system, we hire in the cities, and then we go to the villages And many people have been coming because they have never heard about these crusades. They're just hearing the crusades in the cities, but not in the villages. So the village evangelism has a lot of impact.
How big are these villages that you're going to? How many people would come to a village crusade?
The village crusade depends on the also preparations. So in one village crusade, sometimes we have like 100,000, even to 200,000, because people are so many, they have never heard about this. That's why even if we have Americans and even the foreign preachers, if they can go there, they can have a lot of harvest than in the cities. Because people have never heard about even the Americans and this kind of crusades.
That's tremendous. Tell me some more about your church. Tell me the name of your church and when you planted it.
My church is called the Light Worship Center. It was planted now about 6 years ago. We are in the Mwanza city. But before that, I have been working over 25 years in ministry, working to plant churches in the villages. But the church where I'm now pastor in Mwanza is 6 years old now.
What are some of the big challenges of ministering here in Tanzania? I was talking to one bishop here in Kahama, and he told me that witchcraft is a big problem here. Do you find that also in the villages?
Actually, in the villages, the headquarters of witchcraft, because most of the witch doctors, they stay in the villages, they have their homes there. So also sometimes we have the conflict between the Christians and the Muslims. So that's why sometimes it's very hard. When we try to reach the Muslims, they have some resistance, they bring some conflicts.
And so what do you do to overcome that resistance?
So what we do, we try to make some friendships, some cooperations. We have personal friendship with them. We sometimes invite them in some foods. So that's the key that we try to do. Some of them, mostly the leaders of the Muslims, we try to have personal friendships. And then we have some cooperations to bring peace in the country.
When my wife Jessica came to Tanzania, the main person that she worked with was Bishop Isaiah. And tell me, he's now gone on to heaven. Tell me some of how his ministry impacted you and what you learned from him. Tell me his full name.
Yeah, the late Bishop Zenobius Isaiah. Actually, he's one of the great men in the city of Mwanza and also in Tanzania. I remember I knew him since 2002. We were working together in his church. He could invite me to train workers in his church and also do some evangelism and also some crusades. So when Peter Youngrin had a plan for the crusade and conference in Mwanza, he was one of the main organizers. And that is why we worked together with Jessica, who was the coordinator of that meeting. So through him, actually, my ministry has been impacted, because although he was older than me, but he was a good man who was very much encouraging and trying to help the people, even who are not from his denomination.
I heard that when coronavirus came to this nation, or it was announced that was coming around the world, that your president declared a time of fasting. And that coronavirus has not attacked the nation of Tanzania. Tell me about that testimony.
Yeah, actually this is one of the areas whereby which make us to love our president. And that's why even recently we had general election and the people elected him overwhelmingly. Because when coronavirus came here, he declared 3 days fasting and praying, all denominations, and even with the holiday. So people prayed, and even also he participated in the prayers. And even after the prayers, and then God intervened, and actually he declared Tanzania as a coronavirus free. And after that, actually not many people died in Tanzania. And even honestly, even now, we have no any cases. So even after that, he declared 3 days, Thanksgiving days, to thank God for the intervention. So we really thank God for sparing Tanzania from coronavirus.
Wow, thank God for a president who declared 3 days of fasting and prayer, and then 3 days of Thanksgiving. And thank God for protecting this nation from coronavirus. And it's amazing because now we are here this week. We are doing a crusade, and no one is worried. No one is scared because Jesus is protecting the nation of Tanzania. Bishop Fredrick, it's so wonderful to see you.
Thank you.
God bless you. And it's wonderful to reignite this relationship that my wife Jessica started many years ago, and now I am here and we can be friends.
Yeah, welcome so much to Tanzania. Feel at home. This should not be your last day. When you go back, say hi to your wife Jessica. She's really amazing woman of God, and she's a real missionary. She has pioneer spirit. So we welcome you so much to Tanzania. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bishop.
Daniel King is on a mission to save 1 million souls a year, but he can't do it alone. Would you consider sowing a financial seed today? To give, please visit www.kingministries.com.